Alright, and we are back with the Journey of Wrestling, the save about WWE. The last episode was the first week just after Survivor Series, which was a hugely anticipated event, and now we are on the second week of build towards Deadline, which is Smackdown's exclusive pay-per-view. And so without further ado, it is time to get into the booking. So, kicking off this episode of Raw is Seth Rollins and CM Punk talking to each other. They both still clearly hate each other. It was at Survivor Series that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. However, neither of them were quite satisfied with just that tag match, especially Seth Rollins as he is the one who lost, and so they have challenged each other to a match one-on-one to see who truly is the better man. And big news, that match is going to be happening next week on Raw, so that is a huge match made for Raw, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, to really find out who is the better man between them. Now, first match, this came about on the last edition of Main Event. Tensions have been building between the newly reunited Wolf Dogs and Street Profits. There was some tension between Baron Corbin and Montez Ford before, and then there's been tension building up between Braun Breaker and Angelo Dawkins, which has prompted this match to happen. And it is going to be Braun Breaker getting the victory here. Braun Breaker lost last week, but he gets a win back here against Angelo Dawkins to kind of even the scores because Montez Ford did get a win over Baron Corbin. So the sides are now even between the Wolf Dogs and the Street Profits when it comes to one-on-one competition, but not yet in tag team. And then we have a little backstage segment here. Members of LWO, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, are confronted by A-Town Down Under. Austin Theory is bragging about his win last week against Duke Hudson. And A-Town Down Under, while they did lose at Survivor Series, they still believe that they're one of the best tag teams here on Raw, while LWO, they don't see them doing a whole lot really. LWO take exception to this and they want to prove themselves against A-Town Down Under, but this is just a way for me to kind of involve LWO a bit more because I've yet to really do a whole lot with them. And this is also going to tie in with the Duke Hudson stuff that happened last week. That was not just a random match for Austin Theory to have. There is a connection with Grayson Waller and Duke Hudson because they are both Australian. And so that's going to lead us further into this little story here with the LWO, just to get them a little more involved as well. We have another match, Pete Dunne versus Javon Evans. I've been building up Pete Dunne quite a lot on Main Event for some specific reasons, but that build-up is going to continue here on Raw instead of just keeping him exclusive to Main Event. And so here he gets a win against Javon Evans. And Pete Dunne right now is in the chase for the Cruiserweight title. I've not really done a whole lot with that. There's already so many titles as is, and I'm probably going to be adding more with the women's mid-card titles. It's a lot to balance at first, so I've done barely anything with Andrade, who's my current Cruiserweight champion. But Pete Dunne is in the chase for that, as Pete Dunne has been racking up wins here. He's got 2. This is his 3rd. He's on a 3-match winning streak, and he is coming for that Cruiserweight title of Andrade's. Next up, we have a promo from Bianca Belair where she is talking about how next week she is going to be getting her chance at the Women's World Championship against Io Sky, which is going to be another huge match for next week. We already have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and now we're going to get Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship. Bianca Belair is here just talking about everything that she has had to go through to get to this point to become champion once again. She really wants it and she'll do whatever it takes. She respects Io Sky a lot, but at the end of the day, one of them is going to be walking out as the Women's World Champion next week. Here we have a pretty interesting match. It's a mixed tag team match. Liv Morgan and the newest member of the Judgment Day, Brooks Jensen, taking on members of Alpha Academy, Otis and Maxine Dupree. To kind of build up on Brooks Jensen's momentum here, we're going to have him and Liv Morgan get the victory here. Otis and Maxine are going to lose, and this is not good. The dreaded red bar around the name, that means that there has been an injury, and it's Otis, which kind of sucks because I've been building up that story between Carmelo Hayes and Otis. I literally just started it last week. They had a little segment on Raw. They had more stuff to do on Main Event, and they have something else right here. So basically, after the match, Carmelo Hayes is going to come out to attack Otis, but as Otis clearly sees him trying to get to him, Carmelo Hayes then hides behind Maxine Dupree and shields himself behind her. And then once Otis approaches him, Carmelo Hayes throws Maxine onto Otis and then runs away. Just to kind of build up how much of an ass Carmelo Hayes really is, that he would shield himself with Maxine Dupree and then throw her back on the Otis just to divert some attention, but Carmelo Hayes was clearly trying to sneak attack Otis and it didn't work when Otis clearly saw him. But now I'm kind of pissed because this was more great build-up. As you can see, this segment was incredible, getting huge ratings, everyone's getting over, but now Otis just got injured and I really hope it's not long-term because I've been having a lot of fun building up this feud over the past few weeks, and now, man, that sucks. But okay, we gotta move on. Next up, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Last Legend. If you will remember, Tiffany Stratton and Scarlett have been aligning with themselves recently, and last week they attacked the Women's Tag Team Champions, Last Legend and Jakara Jackson, prompting a singles match here, which Tiffany Stratton is going to win against Lash Legend. Jesus. Anyways, after the match, Lash Legend is going to be attacked by both Tiffany Stratton and Scarlett, but Jakara Jackson is going to run out and make Tiffany and Scarlett run away, exit the ring, and the Women's Tag Team Champions will stand strong. But this is all clearly building up to a title match between these two teams. I'm doing a lot here to kind of salvage and help build up the women's tag team division, and it's working out. Last week their segment was really bad, so the fact that it's good now with Scarlett getting a bit over as well from that, it was really good. So we're just going to continue building up this storyline between these two teams in the women's tag team division. Next up, we have another backstage confrontation. Sheamus is confronting Finn Balor about the fact that, well, Finn Balor a few weeks ago gave Sheamus an offer to join in Judgment Day to kind of make the Irishmen on Raw band together and form a really strong pact. And then it was at Survivor Series that Brooks Jensen helped Judgment Day retain their tag titles, and then afterwards Brooks Jensen was announced as the next member of the Judgment Day. And Sheamus takes exception to this because he was offered a spot, he was thinking about it, he didn't give him an answer yet, and now Brooks Jensen has seemingly taken his place as that member. And Finn Balor basically tells him that it is a lot easier for him when someone gives him a quick answer, implying that Brooks Jensen was extremely willing to join the Judgment Day, whereas Sheamus has been thinking about it and kind of stalling his decision. So Sheamus is pissed that he was kind of passed over when he thought he was a priority, and Finn Balor flat out just tells him that he needs to make up his mind or else he will never get in based on his own decision. And then we have our main event of Monday Night Raw. This was made last week, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso injured Ludwig Kaiser, so now Gunther is getting some payback here in a great match. Both of them got extremely over from that, 4 stars, great match. Gunther is going to beat Jey Uso, but there is some crazy stuff happening after this, so I'll try to recap all this right here, but another great segment. So after the match, Gunther decides to keep attacking Jey Uso to just really try to get some payback and maybe try to injure him as well. But then Roman Reigns runs out to make the save by hitting Gunther with a Superman punch, saving his cousin Jey Uso. Roman Reigns has been angling to try to get him and Jey Uso back on the same page, as Roman Reigns, his wise man, his manager, Paul Heyman, has been taken out by Gunther, and he doesn't want anybody else that has been close to him getting taken out. But it's after this that Jacob Fatu, who is the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, kicks Roman Reigns out of the ring and then hits Gunther with a Samoan drop to stand tall in the ring by himself. The match between Gunther and Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship will be happening in 2 weeks. So that is another huge match that is happening soon on Raw. And Jacob Fatu, while he is family with Jey and Roman Reigns, he is after that world title. And I mean, it's not like Roman Reigns has really done much for him either. So he's clearly out for himself, while Roman Reigns is struggling to kind of keep afloat and really get one over on Gunther by bringing his family back together. So that episode of Raw was really good. Got pretty decent ratings on everything, but I am really disappointed in Otis' injury. I hope that is not a bad injury, but I guess we're going to find out. 5 months. So that means I'm going to have to pivot and do something completely different with Carmelo Hayes. But that really sucks because this storyline, I mean, man, it came out of nowhere. It was super fun the way it happened, and now I've got to basically abandon it at least for 5 months. I guess I could return to it in 5 months, but damn, that sucks. Well, on to Smackdown now. Alright, and we are kicking off Smackdown with a promo from The Rock, and The Rock is basically, ignore what's here. The Rock answers Damian Priest's challenge from last week. Damian Priest was basically talking about how much he hates The Rock, and that, you know, in a one-on-one match, he could probably defeat The Rock. No Rhea Ripley, no Nia Jax, that's just them one-on-one. And so here The Rock is basically answering that challenge by telling Damian Priest that he accepts his challenge and they will have a one-on-one match at Deadline. And The Rock promises to Damian Priest that he is going to regret ever challenging the Great One, and he will beat him and basically send him back to irrelevancy where he was only a couple years ago, at least from The Rock's eyes. So that is one match made for Deadline. Next up, we have a four-way match here. Nathan Frazier, Johnny Gargano, Joe Coffey, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. This is another match that kind of built up to a potential Heritage Cup match at Deadline. I am still kind of debating in my head what to even do for that, because I've got quite a few people in the mix for who I want to see be crowned as Heritage Cup champion, or at least who I want to see like in the match for it. So I'm still kind of booking on the fly when it comes to that in comparison to other things I'm booking, which I have thought about a lot more in advance. But either way, I'm going to have Johnny Gargano here and get the victory. A decent match. I feel like this match would be incredible in real life though. But yeah, just some more build up to the Heritage Cup. Next up, we have a backstage interview from Chelsea. I had a feeling that wasn't going to do well because she only has 2-star charisma, which makes no sense to me. But anyways, Chelsea Green is basically wondering why Trish Stratus and other women seem to think that she was the one who attacked Lola Vice and put her out of action for a couple months. Chelsea Green thinks that it's absolutely ludicrous that she is the only one being questioned, even though Trish Stratus is questioning other women. But still, Chelsea Green feels like Trish Stratus has it out for her, and that's why Chelsea Green has been attacking Trish Stratus and trying to put her in her place. And Chelsea Green actually should have made this into a segment. I should have put this in there. But the idea I have is that Chelsea Green is wondering why people aren't calling out someone like Isla Dawn as the person who attacked Lola Vice, because Chelsea Green points out that Isla Dawn is a witch. Witches do evil things by design. Isla Dawn has had a past of cursing things like the women's tag team titles, so there's no reason why she shouldn't be getting questioned for the attack on Lola Vice. So Chelsea Green is just kind of throwing a name out there and hoping it sticks. But Chelsea Green is still vehemently denying that it was her that attacked Lola Vice. And yeah, next up, doing a further build-up in the women's tag team division here, Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, who recently got a victory at main event, I think like 2 weeks ago, versus members of Pure Fusion Collective, which are Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville. And because they got that win a little bit ago, they're going to get this win here. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. I'm guessing, yeah, Sonya Deville's not entirely happy about that, but it's fine. So yeah, just some further build-up for the women's tag team division, really. Next up, we have a bit of a weird segment here. Randy Orton, who is the current WWE Undisputed Champion, who is scheduled to face Cody Rhodes at Deadline, has been attacked by Razor and Akam, the Authors of Pain. And then it's LA Knight, who is the US champion, who runs out and makes the save by attacking the Authors of Pain, and then Randy Orton gets up and the two of them manage to run them off. There is a pretty big story here that I am developing. So behind the scenes, I disbanded the Final Testament just because I have, well, let's just say better ideas for what Authors of Pain could be doing besides just being like Karrion Kross's bodyguards, really. I have a bit more interest in booking them than I really have in booking Karrion Kross, and I have more ideas on things to do with them that don't involve Karrion Kross. And so like I said, there is a much bigger story at play here involving everyone you can think of that is involved with these men. But this is just the very start of it, and people are now wondering what the hell are the Authors of Pain doing attacking Randy Orton, and what is LA Knight doing getting involved? Alright, we have another match here, furthering the tensions between the Bloodline and the D'Angelo family here. Tony D'Angelo is going to get a victory over one half of the tag team champions, Tama Tonga. I am likely going to have the Sons of Tonga, which is Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, defend the tag team titles against members of the D'Angelo family at Deadline, and I'm probably going to have Tony D'Angelo against Solo Sikoa. But this is just further build up to those potential matches as tensions between these two factions continue to build. Next up, we have another bit of an interesting segment here. Andre Chase is backstage, and he has offered Bayley the opportunity of a lifetime to become a member of Chase U. Chase U is currently just Andre Chase, Riley Osborne, and Omos, and Andre Chase has been recruiting a woman to join them because Chase U is feuding with American Made, who have Ivy Nile, and Andre Chase wants somebody who can battle it out with Ivy Nile. So he has gone to a huge star who has a match later on this Bailey, and while she does appreciate the offer, she is completely focused on winning the women's championship against Nia Jax. She has a match tonight against Rhea Ripley to decide who's going to face Nia Jax for that title. So for now, she has to decline the offer, but she does appreciate it. So Andre Chase is maybe going to have to lower his expectations just a little bit. We have a match here, the leader of Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, against Cedric Alexander, who I've yet to use despite the fact that he has 3-star work rate, so he's clearly really good. But Santos Escobar is going to get the victory here, and I mean, yeah, 4-star match, great match. But the story here is afterwards when member of the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy, attacks Santos Escobar and then is just out of there completely while Santos Escobar is laying down in the ring. This all started when Eric Rowan warned Dominic Mysterio to beware, and then Dominic Mysterio wanted to get help from Legado del Fantasma, but they insisted that unless something happened to them, they would not do anything with Wyatt Six. And now Joe Gacy has targeted Santos Escobar, which is probably going to lead to Legado del Fantasma striking against the Wyatt Six alongside Dominic Mysterio. And then here we have a little promo battle on the mic between former friends and former stablemates, a Bullet Club and all that, AJ Styles and Carl Anderson. Last week on Main Event, Carl Anderson had made an offer to Drew McIntyre that he would help him against AJ Styles because he knows so much about him and he feels as though AJ Styles has kind of abandoned him. And AJ Styles is out here wondering what the hell Carl Anderson wants to do with him. And Carl Anderson basically relays these same kind of points that AJ Styles would be kind of nothing without him and Don Gallows, which obviously is crazy, but that's what Carl Anderson thinks. AJ Styles thinks it's crazy that he would be sucking up to someone like Drew McIntyre. And so Carl Anderson challenges AJ Styles to a match next week so that he can unload all of his anger on AJ Styles and basically get back at him for what he feels as though AJ Styles has done to him by just abandoning him and going on his own now. And so AJ Styles accepts that match, so next week it will be AJ Styles versus Carl Anderson. And then we have our main event, Bayley versus Rhea Ripley. This is to decide who will be facing Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship at Deadline. However, there is going to be a little twist in this match. It doesn't matter here because it is a draw. Time limit draw. Bayley and Rhea Ripley run out of time. They cannot decide a winner until it's after this. I just put promo battle here, but basically Nia Jax comes out afterwards and just laughs at the fact that Bayley and Rhea Ripley could not get a victory over one another. So now Nia Jax believes that she has no opponent for Deadline because Bayley and Rhea Ripley could not get the job done. And that is where Smackdown ends for now. Obviously next week this is going to get resolved between Bayley, Rhea Ripley, and Nia Jax. But a lot of big things are happening. A lot more matches are being made for the following weeks. And all we have left is Main Event. And now it is time for Main Event, which signifies the end of this week. Starting off, we have Kairi Sane versus Blair Davenport. Kairi Sane is going to get the victory here. These are two women that I've not been using a lot as well, so kind of using this to build up Kairi a little bit more and to use Blair Davenport in the match because I haven't done so yet at all. And then we have a little video package, a vignette about Carmen Petrovic. One of my goals is that I have to get her over, so I'm doing it a little bit to get her over. This is just a vignette to kind of illustrate her. I forget what she does, like MMA or something like that. I forget what she does because I don't really watch, but I know a little bit. I know that she carries around like something, I forget. Whatever it is, this video package highlights it and just kind of puts her over a bunch. So yeah. Next up, Ethan Page versus Oro Mensah. I've not used Oro Mensah yet at all. And then I've only used Ethan Page in one match, which was a US title match against LA Knight. And Ethan Page is going to get a victory here. Not a great match, but just to kind of utilize these guys a bit more, which obviously is what Main Event should be. It's to utilize guys who I'm not using a whole lot, and so this is part of that. Next up, we have a little interesting thing here. Kevin Owens is now debuting the brand new K-Open Challenge and debuting it on Main Event. So basically, he's just opening an open match challenge to literally anybody who wants to fight him. And so it is answered by Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe was someone that I was using a little bit early on in this save, and so now Eddie Thorpe is looking for another chance to kind of prove himself, so he has answered the K-Open Challenge. And they have a match here which Kevin Owens is going to get the victory, but it was decent match. And the K-Open challenge will be continuing in the weeks to come, but it's just to get something for Kevin Owens to do as well. Next up, we have an interview with Legado Fantasma, and what they want to say here is they want the Wyatt Six to back off and leave them alone. They want nothing to do with these freaks as they think they are. They have no idea what they did or what Wyatt Six want with them, but they just don't want them to have anything to do with them, and they want to be left alone completely. So that is kind of their warning to the Wyatt Six, but knowing the Wyatt Six, they're definitely not going to just listen to this and give up. Here we have another match. Julia, who is also someone I've not used a lot, and then Ivy Nile, who is a part of American Made, and she is also yet to have a match. So either way here, Julie is going to get the victory over Ivy Nile. Pretty good match. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Just kind of using these people a bit more. Here we've got a little bit of a friendly chat between fellow Aussies Grayson Waller and Duke Hudson. This chat is interrupted by Austin Theory, who, as we recall, did beat Duke Hudson on Raw last week. And so he's wondering, what is this all about? Why is his tag team partner hanging out with the dude that he beat in a match? But Grayson Waller assures him that Duke Hudson is a cool dude. There's no harm. There was no harm done in that loss, and that Duke Hudson is cool with them. And so Austin Theory just kind of goes along with it for now, as Grayson Waller kind of initiates Duke Hudson into their little group. Next up, we have a promo from American Made, who basically, this is a weird glitch. Anyways, it's supposed to say Chase U here. This is about Chase U. They basically tell Chase U that their failure to recruit a woman to kind of combat Ivy Nile is going to be a failure forever. They're never going to find someone who has the skills of Ivy Nile. Ignore the match that she just lost. And they think that Chase U are just a bunch of chumps that they can easily outmaneuver, out-wrestle, outdo pretty much anything in the ring. And Chad Gable believes that he is much smarter than anybody in Chase U. He doesn't understand how they're a university. And they also brag a little bit about the victory they got last week over LA Knight, Wesley, and Kofi Kingston. So just kind of American Made putting themselves over, putting down people like LA Knight and Chase U and all of them. So yeah. And then we have our main event. It is one half of the Motor City Machine Guns versus one half of the tag team champions, JD McDonough. They are still feuding as Motor City Machine Guns feeling they got screwed over at Survivor Series because of Brooks Jensen. And so we have this match here, which Alex Shelley is going to win. Pretty decent, good match here. Kind of build us up a bit more and just show that Motor City Machine Guns are not done chasing the tag titles just yet. They still want them from JD McDonough and Finn Balor. And that is main event. And look at that. Things increased because we had a pretty decent main event. So that's good to know. But that is going to do it for this week. Of action, Raw, SmackDown, and main event. We're continuing to build up the deadline, but we are also making huge matches for all of the shows. In the next episode of this, we're going to see Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship, along with some other stuff like AJ Styles versus Carl Anderson. So make sure to check that out. Let me know down below what else you want to see me talk about on this channel. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, and yeah, thank you for watching.